So in Objective 9.7, we're converting different types of units of pressure. Something that you may have found in your notes is this thing called STP, right? And what STP stands for is standard temperature and pressure. So in future problems, you might see something that says at STP. What that means is you're at 273 Kelvin and 1 atm, which is atmospheres. So there are different units for pressure. Atmospheres is abbreviated ATM, and millimeters of mercury, mm is millimeters, and the chemical symbol for mercury is Hg. So in 1 atmosphere, there are 760 millimeters of mercury. In 1 atmosphere, there are also 760 torr. So basically a torr and a millimeter of mercury are the same thing. Torr is capitalized here because it actually came from a scientist whose last name was Torricelli, so that's actually the abbreviation, but they're the same thing. And lastly is kilopascals, lowercase k, capital P, A. That also means that there's pascals, right? Pascals is a really small number, right? So we use kilopascals, which is 101.3. In your notes, it would be 101.325, but that's a little bit long to write. We don't need that many sig figs. If you're measuring pressure, you're going to be using an instrument called a barometer, spelled barometer. Okay? So if you ever heard on the weather, the barometric pressure, that's indicating where you measure pressure. So one example, we've done things like this before, so this should be a quick review. We're going to convert 880 millimeters of mercury into atmospheres, ATM. So you start with your given 880 mmHg, and your target is to get to atmospheres. So target on top in the numerator, right? Meaning we'll need our 760 millimeters of mercury down here. And because your number is in the denominator, that means you divide. So I've got my calculator here on the side, 880 divided by 760, and that gives us 1.15789. Might as well review sig figs while we're here, right? There's technically 2 sig figs here because there's no decimal point. So 2 sig figs would be 1.12 mmHg. So that's converting millimeters of mercury to atmospheres. Pretty sure you could probably figure out if we're going to go from atmospheres to millimeters of mercury instead of division. 1 atm will be in the denominator here, 760 is in the numerator, so that means we will multiply. 1.75 times 760, and that is 1330. 760 is a conversion factor. It's exactly 3 sig figs. All right, so what we'll do is we'll look here, and we'll say, hey, there's 3 here, 1330. That's our answer. And then the last one for kilopascals. All right. Similar process, 1.75 atmospheres. And every 1 atmosphere is 101.3 kPa. So again, we would multiply here. And get 177.275. 3 sig figs, so we'll just call that 177 kilopascals. On the next slide, there's a bunch of problems to do. These problems go along with the Google form. The 2 bonus ones are extra credit at the end.